it's Merce. Welcome back to my channel where I review horror books with a supernatural focus. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you on a little trip to Rough Draft here in Kingston. It's a really cute little bar slash cafe slash bookstore, and we're going to check that out together. And then I'm going to share with you some books that I got for free from my local thrift shop. It's been a few weeks since I've made a video. Things have been a little bit hectic, mostly with my work, but also with trying out these new ADHD medications, which in the end, at least the one that I have now, is not for me. So that was not a good experience, but I'm feeling better now. So hopefully I can fix that with my doctor at some point. It's been a challenge this month, but I'm not complaining. These are good challenges. These are all going in the right direction, and it's nothing like last year. So I'm happy. So yeah, so that's just kind of what's been going on with me. So I'm sorry I have been MIA for a little bit. It's just a lot. However, I did rearrange this room, and I'll do a little room tour at a certain point because I've actually ordered some things to make it more of a bedroom. And if you saw the tour on my Patreon, I think you would have seen how it looked, which was very much like an office, because this room is actually my roommate's photography office. So there's a lot of gear in here and there's a lot of stuff, and he took all that stuff out. So I was feeling better, and I was like, you know what? I think this is a really good step forward to just start making this room my home, you know, and just kind of making it into my space and settling in, you know. My stuff should be here next month, so I'm looking forward to that. And so I think I'm really ready now for that feeling of like settling down, just really embracing being here. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the vlog. I'm really excited to show you Rough Draft and just show you the books that I got. Be sure to like and comment down below. And if you would like to get more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. So to head over to Rough Draft, we're gonna have to cross the railroad tracks. This is my little secret hobo path that I take. It's just a really easy way to get to, it's not really a downtown, but let's just call it the crossroads of Kingston. The crossroads are the oldest crossroads in the United States, which is pretty interesting. And this train right here actually takes people down the Esopus River, and it's supposed to be really, really nice in the summertime. I definitely want to grab some beers and just do that. It sounds really fun. This is a ruin. I think it was built in the 1700s, and they just keep it like this, and they keep, you know, making sure that it's not going to fall apart, which is nice. Now, heading over to Rough Draft. Here we are. It's a really nice building. It's a very old building. Most of these buildings are historic, and they're pretty old as well. It kind of looks like a tavern, and it sort of is because it offers beer and coffee and books, which I think is just so cool. I'm reading Dante here. I got a donut and I have a cappuccino. And I'm going to show you the menu. You can see the beer selection, and they have their coffee as well. It's a really nice little bar kitchen area. Now here's the bookshelves. The way they have their bookshelves set up is it's pretty minimal. So we have fiction shelves. So it's going to be all kinds of genres here. You really have to look to find things. Come in with an author in mind, I think. Or if you're like me and just want to waste time and just kind of hang out, you can just go shelf by shelf, which is kind of what I did today. But I like this layout. It's really nice, and the whole entire store itself is just, every wall has bookshelves and couches and chairs and tables, so it's really chill. What's really nice is it has a really good vibe because people are coming here for book clubs, they're coming here to read, they're coming here to write. So it has this really, you know, authorly, bookish vibe to it. And I'm surprised I haven't seen any other booktubers here, but maybe I just didn't recognize them. And checking out some books here. This one was called Ghost Wall, I think, which seems familiar to me, but I don't think I know it. But there are a lot of books here that I recognize, like Silver Nitrate, of course. They also have a table that is filled with all of the new stuff that's come in. And they change it pretty often, so it is kind of nice to come in like every week or so and just see what's going on. So they have shelves like world history, politics, gender studies, cooking. So they have a really nice variety of things to read here. They have a kids section. And they also have books that you can get for free if you purchase an actual book, which is pretty nice. So here's Whale Fall, but this is not the Whale Fall that we know. This is a different Whale Fall. They do have the other Whale Fall though. And here are some books that I pulled out that looked interesting. Also, Angel of Indian Lake is the latest Graham Jones book. Really beautiful cover. I love how it's embossed. This book is gorgeous. I know that Leigh Bardugo is I think she's a fantasy writer, but look at this book. It's gorgeous. It has those pomegranates and then it has these black painted edges. Wow, what a beautiful book. Jawbone is something I heard that was pretty good, but I have not read yet. We Are a Haunting. Not sure what that is, but of course I had to take a peek because it said haunting. Rachel Harrison's Black Sheep was there. And now we're gonna go ahead and walk over to the thrift store. There is this giant worm. I don't know why, but yes, it's a giant worm. Some flowers, there's so many flowers blooming right now, and irises are one of my favorites. Look at this creepy attic. I'm so in love with it. And I love this, I don't know, this kind of like image of this house because it looked like this is exactly how it looked like 100 years ago. I did not film it when I first got there because normally the books that they have for free are just, there's never anything I want there. But this time it was totally different and I found a bunch of books that I actually liked. And I think it's so cool that all of them are for free. So my new routine is going to be going to Rough Draft on Monday mornings and getting a nice coffee and then sauntering over to the thrift shop to see if there's any cool books I can find in this little free goodie bookshelf thing. So let me show you what I found. So first, let's start off with two classics that are favorites of mine, and I used to have copies of these. I've had multiple copies of them. I've lost them through all of the times that I've moved and I've traveled and all of those types of things. So the first one is The Stranger by Albert Camus. This cover is super weird. I don't understand it because it really does not fit the story at all. But this was printed in 1972. It totally goes with that vibe. It has a really nice old book smell. I really love it. It's a story about this guy who commits a really pointless crime. And this is sort of him grappling with that. The next one was this copy of The Hobbit by Tolkien. I love this book. I don't read a lot of fantasy, but I've read The Lord of the Rings, like the whole entire series, and I've read The Hobbit probably 25 times. It's very endearing and it's very sweet. And the movie, I didn't feel did it justice. And this one was printed in the 1980s. I'm not gonna tell you what The Hobbit is about. Like, everybody knows what The Hobbit is about. The next one I got is Dune. I have seen both Dune 1 and Dune 2. And I love them both. I think they're filmed so beautifully, and it just reminded me about how much I loved this audiobook. And the thing about the audiobook that I had, it had a multiple cast of actors, and the way that it was read, it was just really, really beautiful. And I probably listened to it a handful of times, but I've never had a hard copy. So I decided to grab this, and it's fairly new, as you can tell. I think this was from the first film. This is a big boy. This is, I'd say almost, yeah, it's almost 900 pages, but I know it's good because the audiobook was awesome. The next one that I found was a hardcover copy of The Ruins by Scott Smith. I've read this book, I've reviewed it. It was so good. A great vacation read, great summer read, beach read type situation. If you guys remember, this is about a group of friends who go to Mexico for the summer, and they think they're going to have this fun, sultry, exciting vacation and turns into a nightmare when they're trapped in this rainforest or Amazon type location, and there is something there that's not letting them leave. It's really, really, really good. I enjoyed this a lot. There is a film version of this book, and I don't think it matters if you watch it because it is so different from the book that it's just miles away. But the book is fantastic. And so I have a paperback, like I said, and now I get to replace it with this really beautiful hardcover. And it was free. Can you believe it? Like, I would probably have to pay like $9 for this, maybe. The next thing I picked up is a middle grade book, and I was really just taken by the cover. This is something that I would have read as a kid because I was totally drawn to these like Victorian stories of children in peril and like them trying to find a way out of it. This is Nobody's Daughter by Susan Beth Pfeiffer or Pfeffer. Never heard of this author before, but it's a very short and sweet book. And this is about a young girl. She's an orphan. She's been placed in a girl's home and nobody likes her. Everybody is treating her really badly. She just can't get a break. But eventually she meets this librarian who seems to give her a hand or helps her out in some way. Her name is so funny. It's Emily Lathrop Hasbrook. It sounds like a very fancy name. The cover is really cute. She actually looks a lot like my friend Grace, which I need to tell her about this book cover. But it seems very cute, so I think I'll definitely read this. This is one of those, like, I don't know, you could read this in like an hour maybe? I mean, not even that long. And the last book I got was kind of cool because it was sort of something that just went with something I'm reading now, which is Dante's Inferno. I am almost halfway through. This is really, really, really gorgeous. I've been really getting into poetry lately. I don't know why. I think, you know, I saw this one TikTok video. I think it was this actor, Ethan Hawke. He was talking about how you don't know that you need art until something happens that you don't know how to express. Like you have a death in the family, or you're brokenhearted, or just something terrible happens and you start looking for words or images or something to give meaning to what you're feeling and to express for you, you know, what you're feeling, so that you feel some connection somewhere with someone that they know how you feel. And it can be very healing and it can be very nurturing and things like that. And I think with everything that's happened, I think that's why I've kind of been into the poetry thing. I'm looking for these short bursts of text that speak to me, that make me feel comforted. And so reading Dante's Inferno, it's really, really beautiful. I did pick this up at Half Moon Books, which is in Kingston, and it was used, but supposedly this is a very good translation by Robert Pinsky. What I find really interesting is like these characters that are traveling through the circles of hell. They're meeting different people that they know, or people that they've heard of, or influential people, like Alexander the Great, for instance. And so I was thinking that it would be really funny if somebody rewrote this in a more modern context. And when the characters are going through like the 9 circles of hell, like it wouldn't be like Alexander the Great or, you know, whoever. It would be like our known celebrities and influencers and politicians and things like that. They do mention a lot of names of like officials and politicians and business owners and things like that probably people knew during the 13th century. So I'm waiting for that film to come out. I think it would be fantastic if they really followed it to a T, because it is so weird and beautiful and grotesque all at once. It would be fantastic. So yes, I'm reading, so long story short, I'm reading this. So when I was at the thrift store looking at the books, I saw this book and it's called The Dante Club. And I was like, that could be cool. Like, is it cool? I don't really know. But it has a really interesting premise. I'm gonna read to you the synopsis because it is kind of involved, but I think it's interesting. It says, in 1865 Boston, the literary geniuses of the Dante Club, poets and Harvard professors Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, Dr. Oliver Wendell Holmes, and James Russell Lowell, along with publisher J.T. Fields, are finishing America's first translation of the Divine Comedy and preparing to unveil Dante's remarkable visions to the New World. The powerful Boston Brahmins at Harvard College are fighting to keep Dante in obscurity, believing that the infiltration of foreign superstitions into American minds will prove as corrupting as the immigrants arriving at Boston Harbor. Oof. The members of the Dante Club fight to keep a sacred literary cause alive, but their plans fall apart when a series of murders erupts through Boston and Cambridge. Only this small group of scholars realizes that the gruesome killings are modeled on the descriptions of hell's punishments from Dante's Inferno. With the lives of the Boston elite and Dante's literary future in America at stake, the Dante Club members must find the killer before the authorities discover their secret. Dr. Oliver Wendell Holmes and an outcast police officer named Nicholas Ray, the first Black member of the Boston Police Department, must place their careers on the line to end the terror. Together, they discover that the source of the murders lies closer to home than they could have ever imagined. So it is a really interesting location. The 1860s in Boston. You probably have a lot of politics going on that time. So obviously this is going to have a lot of historical fiction, non-fiction inspired, stuff. But I thought this would make a really great, fun companion with these two together. Now, is this book good? I don't know. I haven't read any of the reviews, but it was free and it felt a little kismet, So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me to Rough Draft. Next time I'll take you to Half Moon Books and we will hit the thrift store again and see what we can actually find, and I promise I'll film that next time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and be sure to take care of yourselves, look out for each other, and I will see you in the next video.